bloodthirsty, ferocious animals, and of course, me, your host, Freya. I will turn you to the madness. I will turn you to the madness. I will turn you... Sorry about that. Hello everyone, Moobies here, and welcome to the Freya Normal and Hard Mode Ulduar Boss Guide. Let's get into it. Freya is a two-phase fight, and in her conservatory there are 3 elders empowering her. Like Sartharian, leaving these up activate new abilities during the boss fight, but unlike our favorite red dragon, these don't come in to fight you. You can do this fight with 0, 1, 2, or 3 elders alive, 0 being the normal mode, 3 elders being the hard mode. For this fight, you'll want a balanced raid composition. 2 tanks, 4 to 5 healers, and a mix of ranged and melee DPS. First, let's talk about Freya's abilities. She will cast Sunbeam, which deals about 8,000 nature damage to enemies within 8 yards of the target. Attuned to Nature, which increases healing done to Freya by 4% per stack, starts at 150 stacks or 600%. Touch of Aeonar, passively healing for 24,000 per second. Lifebinder's Gift Summon, which summons Aeonar's Gift, a tree that grows and after 12 seconds, if still alive, heals Freya and her allies for 60% of their max HP. She will also summon Allies of Nature, which summons 1 of 3 waves of adds. A total of 6 waves will be summoned. Killing adds reduce the number of stacks of Attuned to Nature. Finally, Nature Bomb. This summons immobile nature bombs around the feet of random raid members. The bombs explode after a few seconds, causing massive nature damage and knocking players back. The Allies of Nature are the next part of this fight, so let's talk about each add wave and what they do. You are guaranteed to get each set of adds twice, but the order is always random and does not repeat. You will get all 3 and then get all 3 again, potentially in a different order. The first one we'll talk about are the Detonating Lashers. 12 Detonating Lashers will spawn and attack with Flame Lash, then detonate on death, causing fire damage. The second add wave is Elemental Adds. 3 adds that all must be killed within 12 seconds of each other or they'll come back at full HP. Ancient Water Spirit attacks with Tidal Wave, which is a frontal cone frost attack. Storm Lasher attacks with Storm Bolt, dealing nature damage, and casts Lightning Lash, which hits up to 5 targets for 7,500 nature damage. And the Snap Lasher. Attacks against this mob trigger Hardened Bark, which causes attacks against it to increase its damage. Must be kited. The third add wave is the Ancient Conservator. 1 large add will spawn, and a whole load of mushrooms will also spawn. All attacks and spellcasting will be unavailable unless standing near a healthy spore due to the Conservator's grip. He also debuffs players with Nature's Fury, which deals AoE damage around the target in a 10-yard radius every 2 seconds. So, how do you handle these adds? Well, the Detonating Lashers are fairly straightforward. Everyone should stack on the boss and begin AoE. At about 50%, a mage should blast wave the adds away. Then another mage can blast wave again. If you don't have a mage, have a druid spec'd into Typhoon. Communicate beforehand which direction your raid is planning to move and which way to knock back the lashers. Slow them and ranged finish them off with long range AoE. For the elemental adds, assign a hunter or 2 on Snap Lasher duty. They will distracting shot the Snap Lasher back and forth between them from across the room while pumping DPS into it. Melee DPS should be on the Storm Lasher and interrupting anything and everything they can, especially Lightning Lash. Both the Storm Lasher and the Ancient Water Spirit should be held by the off tank, and all 3 must die at the same time. Finally, the Ancient Conservator. He'll spawn a ton of healthy spores around the area. Stand under these to continue DPS and healing. The tank must move to 1 as well. If you get Nature's Fury, don't worry about DPS, just get out and don't hurt your raiders. Throughout this phase, Freya will be active and needs to be tanked. She'll also be casting her abilities as well, so keep your eyes out for sunbeams and Aonar's gifts. Stay out of the sunbeams and priority target the trees to kill them. Once this phase ends, Freya will no longer be able to heal enough and phase 2 will begin. Ranged and melee should have 2 different stacks just like XT, about 20 yards apart. Set stack points for each group. When Freya casts Nature Bomb, everyone will cross the river out of range of the nature bombs. She'll continue to cast Sunbeam and Aonar's Gift, so make sure you're avoiding these and killing the tree. When she casts Nature Bomb again, move back across the river. Both groups need to move when she casts this, as the nature bombs can be hard to see, so you should have someone vocally calling out when these are cast. Exhaust her HP and you'll free her of the corruption of the old gods. Now, let's talk about the differences in hard mode. Each Elder left up will buff Freya and her adds and give her one new ability. Elder Brightleaf buffs magical damage done by 60% and grants unstable energy, which places up to 3 additional sunbeams on the ground, dealing about 9,000 nature damage a second to players within 5 yards of the beam. Elder Iron Branch buffs physical damage by 50% and grants strengthened iron roots, which roots a player in place, dealing 8,000 damage every 2 seconds. You must kill the roots to break the player out. Finally, Elder Stonebark increases Freya's physical damage by 75% and grants Ground Tremor, a raid-wide AoE 8-second interrupt dealing about 9,000 to 10,000 damage to everyone in the raid. So, what's the difference? Well, frankly, there isn't much of a different strategy here. The boss does more damage, but for your strategy for killing her and her ad waves remain the same. The strategy transfers between modes. Getting out of additional sunbeams, killing the iron roots, and having raid cooldowns prepared for ground tremor will get you where you need to go. Assignments don't change and your raid composition doesn't change. You may want to solidify 5 healers for this fight as the raid damage is quite heavy. You may also want to bring a 3rd knockback for the lashers to ensure they don't get close. Heads up play and great communication are what win this fight. That's all there is to it. Hope you enjoyed the guide. See you next time.